Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. And now guys, I didn't plan on doing this, and I don't really do many of these Reddit react videos, but I kind of had to because I was mentioned in it, and I think that this sort of Reddit post can do a lot of damage in the League community. Now, if any of you guys have been following my channel for an extended period of time, you'll know that I don't actually do much like lower level content anymore, especially revolving around the ranks of like iron, bronze, and silver. I tend to, at a minimum, kind of do gold and above. I did that one video talking about bronze and silver and how to climb out of it, but that's about it. So this was actually a Reddit post that was talking about climbing out of bronze and silver. And I thought it was absolutely fascinating, and I'm going to kind of debunk it and talk about, I guess, get aligned on what this guy was trying to cover and why he might be experiencing these problems. I'm going to show with examples why it isn't true. So let's give it a read through so you guys can actually understand where this guy's coming from. So it was titled, "How is Nice having so much trouble in bronze elo? How to really win the League of Legends?" So this was posted 6 days ago by the Killer Tofu. So to begin with, I have to make it clear I believe two things. The skill gap in the game is narrower than most people think, or at least narrower than before, and I would agree with the narrower than before, for sure. And concepts popularly considered to be and described as in this post as quote-unquote high-level or esoteric are actually not. So watching some chill Nice, I was flabbergasted by how difficult it was for him to secure leads in such a low elo. In a lot of his videos, he legitimately has a hard time against low elo opponents, even in lane when you supposedly have the most agency in the game. All coaching content about climbing in this bracket is just CS better and don't die in the fundamentals. Nice is a coach and a former challenger. He has fundamentals mastered at this point. What gives? We're often told by other content creators such as Coach Curtis that build, macro, and other esoteric concepts aren't important until Diamond, and you can just climb by just not playing badly. And in brackets, using flash aggressively, putting harass above CSing, and flashy plays. You watch Nice's low elo series and you see that these low elo players aren't making these huge exploitable mistakes that you hear so much about. Most of Nice's won games are actually through macro, him directing the team to the correct decision and the occasional flashy play. Take his most recent video, and I'm assuming this was a game where he was laning against some Tryndamere in some bronze game. And he was saying how this wasn't anywhere close to a free game. The Tryndamere did an amazing job in laning versus a challenger player, and in my opinion, matched Nice's laning fundamentals. I expected the bronze to challenger skill gap to be similar to casual player to grandmaster in chess. Maybe I've been living in some fantasy world about the ability of high elo versus low elo, but I'm beginning to believe the secrets of fundamentals is out, and content creators need to catch on. Low elo players are just better than they used to be. Frankly, I can't even see the skill difference between these low elo brackets, bronze, silver, gold, plat. They all understand the fundamentals perfectly. Let me reiterate that one more time. They all, apparently, understand the fundamentals perfectly and will not be beaten by simply, quote-unquote, not making mistakes yourself. I think the days of low elo equals clueless is over. Even the best of the content creators are dismissive of the abilities of low elo, which wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't giving the wrong idea to people trying to get better at the game. I'm convinced a lot of people trying to climb are actually following the fundamentals advice to the neglect of esoteric concepts, which is actually causing them to stagnate in low elo. CS better, don't die, it's lazy, outdated advice. What I want to see from this sub and the content creation community is a discussion on how the skill gap has changed in the game over the past few years and how to address informative content and coaching in response. As an example, instead of telling bronze players to focus on fundamentals, which were listed above, perhaps encourage mastering high elo concepts such as game state, macro, and champion interactions. TLDR, the fundamentals are not a secret. Learning materials that recommend ignoring high-level concepts are keeping people from climbing into the bracket, which the high-level concepts supposedly become relevant. Okay, so there's a lot of, angles we can tackle this from. I think first things first, we need to get aligned to what exactly the fundamentals are. Now, I only come from a mid lane coaching perspective, so from a mid lane anyway, when I talk about fundamentals, I talk about wave management. I guess basic tempo assessment, understanding how to get a good quality reset, like leaning and warding. And like how to CS, really. I mean, that's basically it. And I'm actually a big believer in what I call the loser's game, and I've spoken about this a few times in the Midland Academy and on my YouTube, talking about how I believe if you simply capitalize on the mistakes of the enemy, that will largely get you around plat 2. as long as you have champion mastery and the fundamentals down pat as well. But obviously he doesn't really believe in such a thing, because I'm assuming this guy Killer Tofu, whether it's him or his friends, are still stuck in silver and bronze. And, you know, they're just looking for some help. And I can completely empathize with this guy, because League's not an easy game. So look, there's a few things I do want to touch on before we get into the examples, and I'm actually going to talk about why this is the case. I'm going to show you me playing in bronze in a second. But, you know, I actually did a video talking about, like, your League journey. I think this was a few months ago. And I spoke about how people can kind of have differing skills. So, you know, there might be a bronze 1 Fiora 1 trick out there that has kind of nailed the mechanical element of the game. That could very well be the case, but it's highly, I mean, not even likely, it's definitely the case that if he's still in bronze, there's some other areas of play that are completely lacking. So, you know, there's no such thing as like an overarching bronze player. People kind of might be really good in some other areas. Maybe he's like bronze 1 in few areas, or maybe actually he's silver 2 in 2 or 3 areas, but then he's iron 4 in some other areas. And that is definitely the case, but everyone has a very unique journey, and everyone has their own unique strengths and weaknesses. So, you know, it's hard to kind of extrapolate certain things, but that could very well be the case, and why Nee struggled in the lane phase versus certain players. But why I'm so passionate about breaking this one down is because I feel as though this is completely wrong. And you know what? My approach in this video is, for the sake of this argument, I'm going to assume that I'm wrong. I'm going to assume that, you know, maybe I've got an outdated take. I haven't ever played in bronze. I actually started League in gold in season 2, so I've actually never played in bronze. I don't actually coach bronze and silvers. I only coach gold and above. And, you know, there's a world in which I'm just delusional. I'm out of my zone. I don't know what I'm talking about. There's a world in which I'm wrong. And so I'm going to assume that I'm incorrect about the fundamentals and how the fundamentals relate to the game. And I'm actually going to test this. And one of my mantras moving forward with my content creation and just me as a coach and as a person, I'm trying to be very evidence-based. Like, if I can't actively prove that something is the case, I'm not even going to talk about it. So rather than talking and getting into a little bit of a Reddit war with this guy, I'm actually just going to, I decided to do, is play 2 games in bronze 1. So I got a bronze 1 account, a genuine bronze 1 silver 4 account, and I played 2 Annie games. Right, and we're going to look at what both these games look like. And now, I did this as a bit of an experiment. Now, a few of you guys are like, oh, but you're a challenger playing in bronze. Of course you're going to win. Well, okay, hear me out. I handicapped myself a few ways. So in the first game I versus Vigar, you'll see how I basically don't interact with the enemy at all. Maybe I do like 1 or 2 QW combos, QW auto combos, and I only use my ultimate basically when my team is coming to gank. I never use my flash aggressively in the entire game. I basically don't make a single macro call. No macro calls. I just listen to what everyone else says and just do basic macro. But most of the game, what you'll see me do is just focus on my CS, get somewhat decent resets, not even thinking about tempo, actually. I didn't even value my tempo at all, but somewhat decent resets where I didn't miss much farm, get good quality CS, like 9/10 CS per minute, and then just group in the mid game and ARAM and understand how to play my champion and capitalize on the enemy mistakes. Now, the first game, which is super fascinating, I'll put these scores up. First game I lost. And you'll see in a second why I lost, because obviously the enemy had a smurf in top, and my top was down like 3 or 4 levels, and my bot lane got absolutely annihilated, my jungle was tilted, the whole thing, the whole shebang, the classic bronze experience, right? But I made that game so goddamn hard for them to win, that if I had one person on my team that was playing to win, or actually if I was allowed to use my flash aggressively, it would have been a free win. The second game, I did basically the exact same thing. I even died in lane. I made it so simple. I even like dumbed down my micro massively, and I still won by not making a single macro game call, never using my flash aggressively, just playing basic League of Legends. So rather than talking about it, let's go into these 2 games. I'm going to go in depth. We're going to review them together. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to show you what basic, what I call losers game gameplay, what it actually looks like, and why it's so goddamn effective for getting you into Gold 4. So this was the first one. This was me playing Annie here. As you can see, my nice little bronze border. I just went a very stock standard electrocute flash ignite setup. You see some silver borders in here. Very classic bronze silver game. So getting into it. Versing a Vigar with TP. And you'll see, I didn't mute all. I didn't mute pings or anything like that. I actually get flamed by the Warwick a lot this game, which was fascinating. He was raging up a storm, which, I wanted to really have the proper bronze and silver experience. And you'll see that for the first, 5 or 6 minutes, I don't even think I use a single ability on this Viagar. All I'm focused on doing right now is having the wave on my side, just valuing my farm really highly, and that's it. Now, my philosophy, one of my big philosophies with bronze and silver is that if you play patient and you value your farm, at some point, as long as you're vigilant and you understand how to play your champion, they will present an opportunity. That's one of my underlying principles to climbing to gold. And as everyone's probably panicking, oh my god, you're versing a Yi and a Viagar? Oh my god, aren't you going to get outscaled or something? No, scaling goes out the window when you farm well, especially at this level of play. So as you can see, I'm just trying to thin out the waves, and this is a fundamental. Understanding how to actually prep minions and farm under tower is something that it's an important skill to actually learn. A lot of people don't know how to have 12 CS by the first 2 waves. I actually miss a few CS, I think, at some point in this lane, but nothing fancy. But all I'm doing is just thinning the minions, making sure I'm CSing to the best of my ability, and the great thing about bronze and silver is that no one bounces waves, no one slow builds waves. So in high elo brackets, Viagar might bounce this wave to set up a gank, or he will start stacking waves and make it hard for me to thin waves. Like, he will abuse certain certain weaknesses of my kit. Whereas at this elo bracket, no, everyone's just going to start perma-shoving you in. And yes, there might be the odd player here and there that freeze. But again, like, between the jungles not listening and, I'm sure there's ways out of it, even if they do freeze, with good quality warding, good quality leaning, that sort of thing. Or actually just roaming, honestly. But we can get into that. We can get into that later on. So as you can see, nothing fancy is happening. More Viagar's just trying to hit me with Qs and CS. I'm just valuing my farm, not interacting at all. Poor Tom, I think, was having a really rough time. I think this set was actually a smurf or something like that. So fast forwarding. Now, and I haven't even had a chance to walk because I'm basically getting shoved in all the time. And because I'm actually not contesting this Viagar to the detriment of my team, I'm losing prio, right? And as a result, Viagar's able to collapse into the river here onto this Warwick. And he dies. Which ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't know why Warwick's even walking into the river anyway, because we have no prio. But again, I didn't want to mechanics max this Viagar and overwhelm his mental stack and bait out his abilities and trade onto him. No, I wanted to dumb it down and play as if I'm a bronze that doesn't really know any of that. I want to dumb it down and purely play like reactive League of Legends. That's what I wanted to, this is the point I wanted to prove. And, obviously that's going to come with some consequences. My team is probably going to get collapsed on here and there. I'm not contesting priority. I'm not really trading with this guy. I'm just chilling. Just to see what would happen. So fast forwarding a little bit. Nothing fancy. Just trying to thin the waves. Viagar's going I end up pulling the wave on my side a little bit here. So as you can see, I end up pulling this wave here just to temporarily hold it on my side. Get a nice little water down to one side. I think Viagar ends up hovering bot side here and looking for a potential roam, even though he's So I ping that way in advance, which is another fundamental, or I wouldn't say a fundamental, but a nice little piece of advice is always ping the enemy roams. So what do I do if the enemy's roaming? I'm going to shove. If I don't have a freeze, I'm going to shove. Because I'm sitting on a decent amount of gold. I definitely want to spend this gold. And because I don't have TP, this is what I mean by thinking about how to get a good quality reset. If I were to continue to slow build here, it wouldn't make sense, would it? Because I need to spend my gold. Viagar's going for a roam. If he just goes for that roam and then TP's back and I'm stuck in lane with 1300 gold, what the hell am I going to do? So I need to obviously shove this wave to get myself a reset. So I start to shove, and then inevitably Viagar TP's back and I get a nice little reset. Now that is a good quality reset. Farming pretty well. 52 CS by 6 minutes. Not perfect, but pretty solid. So I ended up going for a first item Sorks. And if we take a look at the game state, top lane is getting annihilated. He's 8 CS to 44, down 2 levels already. Bot lane is already in struggle town. And obviously he's kind of free farming. So a lot of people will start to panic. So I come back again with the intention just to kind of chill. I think here I start to do like very basic short trades onto this guy, like somewhat reactive short trades. But you'll see I don't do anything fancy. I'm still very much just focusing on my farm. And actually, because I went Sorks, last sitting is actually a little bit harder because I don't have any AP. I've just gone for the one-shot build. But pretty straightforward. I end up typing in chat free kill mid just to see if the junglers would actually do anything. You'll see here, I actually type in free kill mid. It didn't mean anything to Warwick, so that was a little bit of experiment. He obviously didn't listen to what I typed, because he could just walk mid and kill here if he really wanted to. So that's okay. End up looking for a basic short trade, Q, W, auto, proc electrocute, run away with my E. Very basic. Bot lane getting annihilated. They end up getting a nice little pick onto E, which was good. So fast forwarding, just farming. Really just farming here. I think set 2v1's top, or like I think he kills Tom, but then end up getting, I think, him on the back end there. I think I take a nice little short trade again. Nothing too fancy. And I even tried to make my micro less intense. Like I tried to dumb it down a little bit, and because otherwise it just wouldn't make it fair. So Warwick, great. Warwick got a nice little gank off. Malphite goes for a little bit of a roam mid, and this ties into my theory. My theory being, at some point, the enemy is going to mess up and they're going to overextend and die to a gank. So, here we go. First game in bronze. What happened? Great. Nothing fancy. I haven't even got... I think I've warded like once. Basically, we're getting perma-shoved in the entire game. Give this guy a little bit of positive reinforcement. Good job, Malphy. And, lovely. Shove out the wave and get a nice little bit of a reset. Now, I don't really care about my tempo into Vigar. I mean, if I was playing at a high elo, maybe I wouldn't shove this next wave and just reset right now, because I can already afford my Lost Chapter, I believe. So, yeah. But anyway, I come back. Now I've got my Lost Chapter. I've got my Sorks. Farming still relatively good. I think I'm up about 20 CS over this guy, which is lovely. Top lane is getting annihilated. 9 CS to 51. Hullbreaker versus like a Ruby Crystal Cloth Armor. Top lane's in struggle town as well. So the game's not looking pretty good for us, is it? Top lane lose their tower. Bot lane die again. So I'm just chilling again. I ping that Vigar's missing. This was inevitably my fault, right? Because... I gave tempo over to that Vigar with my reset. I stayed for that extra wave, and Vigar had a little bit of control and was able to move before me. Pretty sure Warwick died before Vigar got here, though, and he ends up dying here, ulting away, I think. So what do? I hard shove, because Vigar was roaming. Vigar gets another roam bot. So just changing my keybinds. And Warwick's obviously, you know, blaming team and the whole shebang, which is, you know, definitely what you would expect from a bronze player. Just blaming team left, right, and center. Top lane died again. He's down 50 CS, and I think Set got 2 towers by 10 minutes, which is absolutely incredible. And poor Tom, man. I mean, he's probably getting this. This Set's obviously a smurf. There's no way this Set knows how to do that. A bronze player as well, so poor Tom's getting smurfed on. Not too much you can expect from him. So I'm just chilling, sitting tight. So again, not hard shoving, keeping the wave in neutral state or even slightly on my side. The great thing about holding the wave on your side as Annie is that you can set up nice little ganks. So I just ping on my way mid just to give the heads up to this Warwick. Warwick inevitably comes for the drive-by. I press my E, I press my Q, I press my R, and then it's a nice little simple kill. Again, buying into my narrative here, which is that inevitably at some point they're going to die. They may not die in the first 5 minutes, but they're going to die at some point. Now this is where the fun begins, right? I'm 100 CS by 10 minutes 45. I haven't even CS perfectly. I haven't done a single proactive play, to be honest with you. My team's just been dying around the map. Now we killed Vigar. And I'm like, okay, what would be a macro play? Or like, not a macro play, just a play that a bronze player could make. Well, bot is pushing up all the way to tier 2. I've killed my laner. I think it's pretty fair that a bronze player could walk up to this one. So I just move up straight away. They pushed it up nice and aggressively. I'm walking up with my Warwick here. And remember my rule, I'm not allowed to use my flash aggressively. So I just walk up, press my Q, W, auto, and we get a nice little kill. We go for the chase here onto the locks. My rule of thumb, not allowed to use that flash aggressively. So I'm just being very, very patient. And end up giving the kill. Just don't take it. Again, I'm really trying to over-exaggerate here for the sake of the argument. So far, so good, right? I mean, I haven't done anything. Boy, ends up cleaning up the Lux anyway. I go for a nice little reset because I have low resources and a lot of gold. Get my blasting wand. Set comes mid. They riff mid. My team is getting shit on at this stage. So Warwick, for some reason, is forcing Dragon. I have no idea why. That's ultimately him trying to force some crazy play. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Now Sets kind of go for the dive here. And remember my rule, I'm only allowed to use my flash defensively, never proactively. Because I have my flash as a tool here, I'm able to escape this Set little thing. And they siege mid and get 2 towers mid. So look at that. So far, I've just basically slowly lost the game. A lot of people would think, oh my god, Curtis is getting shit on in bronze. Oh my god. So for some reason, they do the dragon. They get collapsed on, but they do get the dragon, which is nice. So again, I'm just chilling. Just chilling. I think Vigar comes by. I press my E. I press my Q and my W. Take a nice little short trade. Pretty straightforward. So I'm farming pretty well. I think I'm 118 by 13. Malphite's kind of just A-ramming. I'm just chilling as well. Again, notice there's no macro calls. I'm not calling lane assignments. I'm not doing anything fancy here. Lux got caught, so I just press my stun, and I just get another kill. I'm just getting handed kills here. I'm not doing anything fancy here. Inevitably, they're going to misstep, right? Lux saying, was the ulti worth it, question mark? Sure was, buddy. So now I'm just chilling. I catch this wave. I've got my Luden's gold, so I go back for base. 120 CS by 14 minutes. Still having done nothing advanced. So now I've got my Sorks and my Ludens. I know I'm pretty strong. You know, Tom's obviously struggling. Bot lane's obviously struggling. But you know what? I'm just going to see what happens if I, again, apply this mantra, which is just sit tight and play off the mistakes of the enemy. So I go back bot. Set's obviously trying to get every tower in the game. I just press my stun on this guy. And what does he do? Oh, he tries. He's getting a bit crazy. He's getting a bit amped up. He definitely wants to utilize his lead here. So look what happens. Oh, what the hell? He's diving me? So I just kill him. Another example, isn't it? At some point, they're going to mess up. Now, Yee's end up cleaning me up on the back end, which is fair enough, but I get a nice little shutdown from killing that set. Remember, I didn't do anything to the set here. I'm literally just CSing on the tower. This guy just runs up in my face. I run back and stun him, and he just trades 1-for-1. And I'm happy to trade 1-for-1 when you got a shutdown like that, buddy. So again, capitalizing on the enemy mistakes. Yee cleans me up. We're already getting siege on by 15 minutes. So again, I just go to the nearest lane that no one is in. Because Malphite's already bought, time's kind of mid, whatever, and it's probably better for me to be catching waves in the side lane than Varus, so I just go top, just catch this wave. So shove out the wave, and my mantra, a lot of the time macro-wise, is just keep it simple. Grab farm when you can, and then just shove and move. So what do? I catch that wave, and then I was literally about to walk back mid. Now look what happens. Set getting greedy rather than playing for the wave. What does he do? He's trying to play for kill. He's trying to make those flashy plays. For some reason, he tries to go for a play here. We're able to one-shot him. Vigar comes with the drive-by. He tries to go in as well, and we're getting two nice little kills there. Like, unfortunately, I didn't get the shutdown, but as you can see, few little kills. Now, they chase and over. I mean, that's out of my control. Remember, I'm not allowed to shot call. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just kind of going with the flow. So now I'm getting pretty beefy, you know. I'm working towards my Shadow Flame here. Another thing I actually found super fascinating in Bronze at these games is that no one builds resistances. So when you go flat pen or like lethality, your champ can do a lot of damage. So far, again, what have I done so far? Simply capitalize, just value my farm and capitalize on the enemy mistakes. So what do I do coming out of base? I go to the nearest wave, so nearest place with farm. So Lucian's shoving out top. What is this guy likely going to do? Right, his resets are probably going to be shit. He's probably got poor map awareness. So all I do is walk around the corner and just get another little kill. This is not advanced macro, is it? I'm literally walking to the nearest person that is overextended and the nearest wave for farm. So still farming pretty good, 145 CS by 17 minutes. My team is grouping mid, and what do I always say? The 15-minute plus ARAM. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hover around mid. I'm an Annie. I've got a Malphite. Let's do it. Let's hover around mid, see if something happens. So I just hover. I hover, and look what happens. We've got a Warwick who presses R. I'm able to press IR, and we get a beautiful little pick on the E. Lovely. Nothing fancy. Just sitting out of vision and pressing my stun button. Lucian dashes in. I'm able to get a nice little kill. Again, if Lucian's going to dash in my face, why not? Give me another kill. Lovely. So, that was pretty much it. Varus sniped on the back end. They siege our in here. I just simply reset and go to the people that are overextended. Now, instead of them resetting, inevitably they're going to go, you know, they're going to go sicko mode for kills. So this guy goes ham. He tries to dive my Nexus. I'm just chilling. I'm trying to keep it simple as possible. If you want to donate his kills, buddy, go ahead. So as you can see, there's a trend forming. This is literally the hardest game you could possibly have. With me, I'm generating 0 priority in lane, 2 2 side lanes that got annihilated, and a Warwick that's flaming and tilting. This is basically as hard as you possibly can. And look at my score, 6-1-6. We're actually starting to get quite beefy now. Varus is getting back into the game. Tom's getting back into the game. Because why? Why are we getting back into the game? Well, instead of free farming and taking our jungle camps, what are they doing? They're just running at our face. When one person dies, what do the other guys do? They still run at our face. So as long as you don't do anything fancy, and you just keep it simple and use your flash defensively, these sorts of things will happen. This is another example. What am I doing? I'm just trying to do my blue I'm just a nice guy. I'm an innocent guy just trying to get my blue buff. Okay, if Lucian wants to do this, fine. I'm going to ult your face, and luckily I've got my flash defensively, because this guy's always going to go for, these people are always going to go for aggressive plays, and Lucian flashes aggressively in my face with complete disregard for my team. We get another kill. And he's saying I got so lucky. Dude, at the give him a little winky face. It's just so funny to me. It really is funny to me, and I'm trying to really exaggerate this with playing as basic league as possible. Imagine if this game was, if I had one winning side lane or one competent member. Imagine that. This game would have been so easy. Or if I actually somewhat contested prior versus the Veigar. I'm not even playing perfect League of Legends, right? I actually played co-op versus AI, and I'm still remotely in this game. So anyway, all I'm doing is, again, catching waves. If they're going to siege our Nexus, I'm just going to sit here, stun, catch CS under tower. Just make sure I'm getting CS, any basic CS around my face. Catching mid wave, because these guys don't know how to end the game, do they? It's not like these guys have advanced macro. So yeah, what are they going to do? They're either going to start Baron and coin flip a Baron, or they're going to mindlessly siege, or one of them's going to split push and get caught off guard, and the other one's going to die. At some point, because they don't know how to end the game properly, one of them is going to get caught. At some point. So I think they end up doing some weird little 1-3-1. Lucian's on one side, then Yi's on one side. I mean, they're going crazy. Inevitably, Yi just goes in. I just press my stun, and then Set gets a little bit frustrated, and then they're just running at us. So we take those kills. So anyway, as you can see, all I'm doing is just catching waves, farming, catching waves, and, you know, pressing my R button. So next dragon was up. So I'm like, all right, fine. My team's grouping on the dragon. Why not? So if they know we're going to dragon, and we know they want the dragon, so all I got to do is sit in this bush. They're going to come to us. There's nothing advanced. Oh, herder. I know you want dragon. We're on the dragon. What happens? Oh, they face check. Inevitably, they die. They get caught. Veigar flashes into the pit for a Malphite for some reason. Veigar dies. I mean, it's getting comedic at this point, right? I mean, it really is. Lux walks in next. Who's next? Come on, give me another one. It's ridiculous. It really is. Now, again, I want to be careful here because I'm not trying to shit on bronze players. Everyone's at a different stage of their journey. But the point, like I said, I'm going to reiterate this time and time and time again. I'm trying to show that you don't need advanced macro to win these games. Alright, so I come back top again. We'll fast forward a little bit here. I end up catching waves. I'm just doing the good old ARAM. Shit gets very spicy here. And we got Set split pushing on one side, and then Varus reacting to a bot. I just press R on the target that was near my team. Warwick goes on one target. I just go on. I'm just grouping, really. I'm just grouping and picking the person next to us. Warwick goes in very deep, even though we had nothing, and then I get spam pinged, and, you know, that's fine. Catch wave, get another reset for my death cap. Yi, what's he going to do? Well, he's going to shove up, isn't he? So I hold my stun, press my stun, boom, another kill. So they don't know how to end, right? They're too scared to coin flip a Baron. So they're just sieging, and they're giving us all these resources. So now, you know, I haven't farmed amazing because, you know, I can't farm 10 CS per minute the whole game in these sorts of games. So, you know, I farmed pretty good in the first 15 minutes, but still okay. 220 by 25, 26, not terrible. So I'm just chilling again, catching waves. If if I see my team group mid, I'm gonna ARAM obviously. Warwick goes crazy for some reason. He tries to be Faker for a second, ends up dying. Yi ends up following us into the team somewhat, and he dies. So very back and forth. Again, I could have killed Lucian here with my flash, but remember, I'm not allowed to use my flash aggressively. Lux just randomly walks up, and I press my stun. I get another kill. I mean, nothing fancy. The only thing I've done that is remotely fancy is that I swapped to Sweeper because I know that Annie is so good when they don't have vision and they face check, and everyone's just going to face check at this elo. So again, I'm just catching waves, and inevitably, if Set pushes up, I'm going to run there. If Set's pushing up, I'm going to go. So I stun, we kill. Another kill. So the game's starting to get very close, isn't it? It was an absolute destruction in the early game, and now it's a very, very close game. 34 kills to 36, and everyone's farmed. Varus has gotten kills. I'm basically full build by 28 minutes, which is pretty insane. Warwick's starting to get quite beefy now. Get another kill. They're just running in one after the other because they don't understand that you shouldn't be doing anything when your other teammates are dead. They're never going to say no to a play. There is no limits on what they should or shouldn't go for. So anyway, fast forwarding, we end up kind of shoving our mid and going for like a bit of a Baron here. Given that we're on Baron, I know that they're going to run into us inevitably. So Lux, I just camp a bush, they run into us, we get another kill. So it kind of goes back and forth for a little bit. Set goes on a split push rampage, and I think I end up killing this guy again. Nothing fancy. So actually take a look at this. Yeah, I'm just reacting to what they're doing on the map, essentially. If they shove and they overextend, I will kill them. So, fast forwarding here. Turns into a bit of an ARAM again, I think, at some point. Everyone's just trading kills back and forth. I hold my stun for the E, get another kill. Set, instead of waiting for his team to respawn, it's just rinse repeat. You'll see, just rinse repeat over and over and over again. So anyway, the game gets to a point where I think we get another dragon, or I can't remember what happens. What actually happens here? I think Set. I think we get split, and then I don't have my stun prepped, and I loop around. They end up getting dragon. I think they end up getting Baron as well, and they were trying to siege. And I think I could have turned around this game. All I had to do was use my flash aggressively, either on the Lux here, or I think it was the Lucian further up. Probably could have stalled out the game a little bit more because inevitably they're going to overextend. I think here I could have just flashed on, but I didn't want to use my flash aggressively, and then I ended up dying, and we lose the game. So this was a really interesting first game in Bronze for me because it taught me a few things. Look, these players aren't terrible. They have, by no means do they have good fundamentals, but they understand how to control their character. They have very, very good, very baseline understanding of their champ's identity. They know how to press QWER and have baseline understanding of the game. That's about it. And that's what Bronze and Silver is all about. So this shows, even in the most difficult game, you can turn it around. I end up finishing the game at 17, 2, and 15 with 280 farm by 35 minutes, which not a single macro game call, purely responding to the mistakes of the enemy, no aggressive flashes, barely interacting with my lane opponent, and basically capitalizing on their mistakes. That is it. Okay? So, I'm like, you know what? Okay, to see this to make sure this isn't a fluke, let's play a second one. Okay, so let's go into the second one and see if these principles still apply. So this was the second one. This was an Annie versus Yasuo. I think this was more of like a silver game, but I think maybe a bronze or two, but mainly silver. And versus a Skana. And let's get into this one. So this one, I had a similar approach. I was like, I think I traded a little bit more. I think their Yasuo actually started with first blood from an invade or something like that. But as you can see already, I'm just last sitting. Just last hit, let the Yasuo shove me in. And the great thing, again, about these elo brackets, to reiterate one more time, no one pulls waves or anything like that. No one does any advanced wave strategies, so I can just largely farm under my tower pretty easily. Most good Yasuo's player would probably bounce the wave, create a long lane state, and then all in me down the long lane or something, but this guy didn't do that. So all I was able to do was just, again, sit here, thin waves with auto attacks. If Yasuo went and roamed, I'm going to ping back. I'm going to get a nice little ward out to one side. I'm just going to continue to value my farm. This game, I actually end up going for the Darkseal instead of the Dorans because the Dorans just felt useless. But small little detail. So this guy, I think, was a little bit better than the Vigar. I think he had a little bit more champ mastery. And obviously, I think Yasuo is just a very easy to execute laning champion, so I guess that also makes sense as well. And I tried to like dumb down my micro. I remember thinking here I should probably get hit by a few Q3s here and there just to kind of make it accurate. I tried to run into a few of them, I think, but anyway, again, he's just perma shoving me in. I think he randomly takes a tower shot. You'll see I'm not even casting my abilities on this guy. I'm just letting him do whatever he wants. So So fast forwarding, as you can see, very similar to the Vigar VOD. I'm just pulling waves, constantly holding waves on my side. If he roams, he roams. I'm not going to follow. I'm just going to do my thing. So fast forwarding a little bit here. I'm just catching waves under tower. Boom, 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 boom. He's perma shoving me in, so I will take that any day of the week. So, pretty straightforward. And this is, again, how to get a good reset. Well, I don't have TP. I'm sitting on 1,300 gold. I calculate when the next cannon wave is coming. So I base on a cannon for a Sorks and a pink ward. So because I base on a cannon, I only miss 2 melees, which is honestly not bad in the grand scheme of things. So fast forwarding a little bit. I end up just starting my slow build out because there's no point in hard shoving. Yasuo comes back, and instead of holding the wave on his side, he just goes for a hard shove onto me, which is great. He ends up starting to trade quite aggressively onto me in a moment. I'm just, again, really focusing on my CS. And he ends up going for a Q3 onto me here, which is crazy. I'm like, oh, okay, he's actually going to do this. So he ended up going me under tower, and then what do I say before? Only use my flash defensively, so he ends up just trading 1-for-1. I'm like, okay, if you want to do that, great. Now notice how much of a worse start this game is. I lose a massive wave under tower. This Yasuo is 2-1. I'm only 57 CS by 7 minutes 30 or whatever. This is not even a good game. As you can see here as well, they've already got a dragon. Top lane's down a lot of CS. I think my bot lane had already died once from that level 1 invade. Not looking like the best game. But a better game. My team is actually doing better than the last game. That's for sure. That's for sure. So I come back. I see Skana. I think he ends up blowing flash here, which was lovely. Come back. Get the wave out. Pretty straightforward. Use my stun reactively. Just peel back. And what do we see? Nearly blindly chases into my team. Skana ends up compensating. And we end up taking a nice little 2v2. Now, I'm kind of here, so I couldn't really do much. I popped my biscuit. And I think we end up trading 1-for-1 here or something like that. Yeah, we end up trading 1-for-1, which was nice. Does Skana die? I can't remember. So again, nothing fancy. I'm just reacting to the plays that they're making. If they want to take this 2v2, sure. Because I have a level 6 Kayn. It's not, you know, and I know I have Ignite. I have a combat spell. Yasuo will be missing a lot of minions for this one. Yes, he's quite strong. He's got his Noon Quiver Berserker Greaves. But again, I played this relatively straightforward. I just hit the next target. Tried to kill the target, whoever Kayn was trying to target. That's about it. So again, bit of a scrappy 2-for-1. Yasuo's getting quite strong. He's 3-2. So fast forwarding a little bit, keeping it really simple. Allowing myself to get shoved in. Not even farming that great this game. I think Yasuo went for another roam here. Walked over a ward. And to be honest, yeah, I didn't think Yasuo was actually going to roam here. This was on me. And this was a bad, again, not taking my own advice from the last game, which is not pinging out those roams. I think I got a little bit complacent. Sloppy ping. And as a result, my Ezreal overstays in the lane and he dies. So that's completely on me. So Yasuo's getting pretty out of control. He even got a shutdown from that. He's 4-2. But, again, I'm keeping it simple. I'm not roaming, not doing anything. So all I do is walk away to my jungler, knowing that Yasuo can only come from that bot side. Pretty straightforward. Now, they get a little bit crazy here. I don't know what they were doing. And inevitably, they overextend. Tying back to that mantra of capitalizing on the enemy's mistakes. I walk up. I press my R and my QW. Pretty straightforward. So, as a result, we get a nice little kill there. I just help my jungler here. I'm not doing anything fancy. If my jungler's going to invade like this, I'm going to help him. So look at this. Teemo flashes aggressively. Thank you very much for that one. We get a nice little kill. This guy walks in and compensates. We get another little kill. So again, nothing fancy here, isn't it? If people are going to flash aggressively in my face when they have the man disadvantage and Yasuo's already dead, of course I'm going to take those kills. This guy compensating, great. So again, all I've done so far, this Yasuo's also pretty fed. I've literally just last hit, allowed myself to get shoved in, waited for them to overextend. Inevitably, they die. So now, before I know it, I'm 5-1, 83 CS, I'm rock and rolling. Bot lane ended up doing a better job this game. So my top lane was struggling, but my bot lane was doing a good job. And that's what most games will have. You'll have one winning side, one losing side. So, Yasuo roams again. I end up pinging this one, I think, way earlier, but they didn't respect, and he died. I think he died to the tower anyway, so that was completely fine. Shove, shove, shove. I've got a beautiful ward on that bot side, so I can safely lean onto top side and see them if they come by. Lovely. I walk down because I've got my ultimate. And again, the fundamentals, playing in accordance to my R cooldown, making sure I'm playing in accordance to my champ's identity, getting good quality resets, valuing my farm, making sure I'm not dying to ganks, basic warding, basic leaning. I'm just doing all the real basics here. So I come by, catch CS under tower. They end up going for some weird thing here. I don't know what that's all about. I think top dies to a gank. Just chilling. This guy goes onto me. I use my abilities reactively. Pretty straightforward. So Yasuo is constantly roaming. And if every single time he's roaming, I'm shoving out mid and I'm denying him farm. He's wasting time. I think Yasuo ends up dying for that. And this is what people try to do. This is exactly what I talk about. He's trying to do too much. He's trying to roam too much. He's not pulling waves and setting up ganks and then creating long lane stays to all in me. What is he doing? He's roaming off every second wave and losing heaps of CS. Great. He went from being potentially a scary Yasuo to just a useless Yasuo. This guy walks in my face, so I just press my buttons and get another kill. That was relatively straightforward. So, as you can see, the same trends are applying. They're giving us kills on a platter. He's losing the game himself. I haven't done anything proactive. I haven't planned anything. I haven't, pinged for ganks. I haven't done anything. He's literally overextended multiple times or died on a roam. That's about it. And in games like this, where you have one winning side or one competent side laner, as long as you don't die and you just value your farm and you group with the team, you're going to win the game so goddamn easily. Yasuo is continuously running it down bot for some reason. So now I've got my mid tower. So that's amazing. So I'm just getting scuttle. Just keeping mid shoved again, not roaming. And I was a little bit confused here in the game, thinking, do I what would a bronze player do? Should I follow roams? Should I not follow roams? I didn't want to overcomplicate things, so I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to sit mid. So I just sit mid, constantly shoving waves. And then I end up getting caught out, but I turn it around and trade 1-for-1. So this one was on me. I didn't think Morgana would be roaming up here. So nice little roam from them. But again, all of this is stemming from me trying not to overcomplicate the game because, again, I didn't know what a bronze player would or wouldn't do macro-wise. So again, using my flash defensively, using my abilities reactively, I'm able to trade 1-for-1, but kind of got a big shutdown, which that's a big mistake from me. So, coming out of base, I'm thinking to myself, okay, really simply, I've got a pretty strong bot lane. I'm rock and rolling. I've got my 2 items. Excellent. I walk back mid to catch the wave. They end up doing dragon. And then we do a beautiful wombo combo. Nothing fancy. I remember thinking here, all I got to do is, as long as I'm somewhat at the objective and we're able to fight as a team, we're going to win this pretty easily. So I kind of wait for them to group up a little bit. And then boom, E, R, excellent. Lovely. Look at that. Great little team fight. So, I think here, they end up overextending. Remember, I'm not pinging anyone back or anything like this. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not shock calling. If they want to do this, they want to do this. I think one back ping, but again, I'm not shock calling here. If this was a real game on my main account, I would already be being danger, reset. Or to be honest, I wouldn't even have to because they would do it. But no one has any idea of tempo or anything like that. So they're just overextending. So I just let them die. For the sake of the experiment, let's let my team die and let them make mistakes that the average bronze player, like in their games, they will experience. So they end up all overstaying. I think all of them nearly die. I go to the nearest lane that has farm, and I just catch that. And if as soon as I see my team group and fight, I'm going to do that. So I just run mid. I run mid. If they give me an opportunity to make a play, I will go for it. Otherwise not, that's fine. And we just move to the Baron. So again, all I'm doing is catching sideways whenever possible. And then if my team group and try to play for the fight, I'm going to do that as well. Again, I haven't made a single macro game call. I'm just following whatever plays my team makes. And this is also to prove a point that there's so much room for improvement. I mean, I could ping my team back when they're overstaying. I could probably ping off objectives. I could ask for assistance for ganks. There's many things I could be doing better. But this is just to show, even at the most basic level, you're still going to win the game as long as you don't make any big mistake. So they inevitably walk into us. We get a nice little Baron play here. I think I end up dying here to a Teemo shroom or whatever it was. So that's completely fine. And then what do? I just group up with my team again, farm the mid wave. They end up dying. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit under my tower and wait for my team to respawn because I don't want to compensate. I don't want to do anything crazy, right? Now they end up going for a weird little dive. I get a nice 3-man ultimate. I mean, come on, guys. If they're going to run under my tower and give me a 3-man ultimate, sure. So I end up getting a nice little, I think it was a triple kill, nearly quadra kill there. So look at this. I'm literally coming out of base. My team get caught. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to compensate. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I can't walk in through here because I'm just completely cut off. They end up flashing aggressively for the Cho'Gath. As long as I value my own life and I don't do anything fancy, probably they're going to dive or do something stupid. And they do. They walk under my tower, I press my R button, and I get a nice little kill. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I understand my champ's identity. I know that I'm a burst-oriented champion. I know that I need to use my stun reactively. I know I need to be with the team to follow it so they can utilize my burst. You know, I'm not just mindlessly playing. I'm still trying to pick up farm whenever possible, like this. I know they didn't need me for the dragon, so instead of going to the dragon, I'm able to catch top wave farm. I'm still getting farm, and I'm still grouping, but I'm playing in accordance with my champ's identity. So then I just ARAM it a little bit here. Didn't want to overcomplicate it. Cho'Gath tries to go for a Q. They miss everything. I'm just ARAMing, and then until, okay, the ARAM's failed. Let's go to the split pusher. Oh, let's get a free kill. So we kill the split pusher. Go back to the ARAM. Run around the map. Try and pick split pushers. Shove the wave while I'm there. Come back mid. ARAM. Inevitably, we're trying to get a bit of control here in the river. ARAM it a little bit more. Yasuo overextends inevitably. There's that one mistake. Boom. Kill. Shove out the mid wave. ARAM. Here we go. Wait for the next dragon, the next objective. Remember, the objectives are the magnets. So then I'm just chilling again, not doing anything fancy. Kane's going very, very deep in the backline. I refuse to compensate, and again, I'm not allowed to use my flash aggressively. I want them to come to me because I'm an Annie. I don't want to flash aggressively. Sit in the death brush. Nice little pick. Boom. There's the mistake. Skarner dies to my ignite. We try to get the next dragon. Somehow they steal it. That's completely fine. It is what it is. I would have been third dragon. Again, ARAM. And we just start the Baron. Teemo split pushing, so let's start the Baron. The counter to split push is start the Baron. If they walk into us, we fight. So we start the Baron. It's a nice little 5v4. We'll take this any day of the week, making sure that my team is in location to utilize my stun. Trying to keep it pretty simple here. Eventually, one of them get caught out. I press my R button, he gets one shot. Peel back into my team. Turns into a little bit of a flipperino. I get ulted forward. I do as much damage as I possibly can. And I think we'd end up just trading kills left, right, and center. So again, messy, isn't it? Very, very messy. This is inevitable in bronze. Very, very messy. Right? And you may think, oh, you could probably make way better calls. Yes. Yes, there's room for improvement, but is it necessary to win the game? No. Continue on. ARAM, catch the waves. Inevitably, what are they going to do? They're going to make some shitty call at some point. They try to coin flip a Baron. I walk in, I press my R button, we kill them all, and we win the game. So again, right, a little bit maybe a bit harder in certain areas, a little bit easier in certain areas. I mean, this team was destroying the Cho'Gath and split pushing up a storm. But at the end of the day, the counter to split push is literally to start the objectives. Start the objectives and play the fight. So, again, really, really straightforward game. I end up finishing the game 17-4. Very similar to my score last game. So, as you can see, I catch sideways whenever possible. I group when I need to group. I play in accordance with my champ's identity. Not doing anything fancy, simply capitalizing on their mistakes. No aggressive flashes, no macro calls, basic build. Guys, as long as you know how to reset, you know how to CS, and just basic warding, basic leaning, you're going to be fine. You are going to be completely fine. So if anyone tells you that you need advanced macro, you need some crazy split pushing, shot calling, crazy shenanigans to get out of silver and bronze, no. Relax, okay? So, again, this is not to belittle the King Tofu who made this Reddit post. I think it's great that you're trying to think outside the box, but I would strongly recommend looking back on your own gameplay and question, if you're dying, why are you dying? Are you overforcing plays too much? Are you unnecessarily split pushing? Are you not CS? Do you not know how to CS properly? Or how exactly are you dying? Minimize deaths, play the loser's game, you'll be completely fine. So for those of you out there who have any questions about this, let me know. I'd love to hear thoughts, comments, etc. I found this fun to do personally. I mean, I only wanted to do 2 games. I don't want to spend too much of my time here in bronze, but bronze and silver. But otherwise, have a great one. Let me know your thoughts. Cheers.